Now one of the things you'll be questioning, why should I have a wild garden? Why would I want a wild garden? Why use up my space to create a wild garden? Well, actually, this garden does not belong to you. You may be living on it, but so is many, many other living forms. Now this here is called Symphytum officinale cross uplandum. They call it Russian comfrey. Now, I had a thing against this because the English comfrey all started to die out and this all started to grow more and more. Gardeners grow it deliberately because it's, see, if you see this, it's really bushy. It's extremely bushy. And it makes brilliant fertilizer by putting it in a bucket, filling the bucket up with third water, letting it rot down, and you get a nice stinking compost that you can fertilize your garden with. What I've started to like about it is, if you see here, this Bombus Pascurum here, going for the comfrey. Now this bee I'm really glad to see because it started to die down, either fire badgers attacking it, which is nature, or someone somewhere putting a lawnmower over a meadow. But this is really, really good for bees, especially in the early summer and late spring. And it's actually good for you as well. Now, why would we have dock? Well, dock also is good for other living inhabitants of your garden, one being the dock beetle. Several moths go for this. Now, this benefits you to have this on the wild border because, well, one, the moths will go for this to steal your vegetables. I must say that most moths go for trees, but there is a few that will go for your vegetables. Very often they'll go for this, and they'll go for the nettles. You see here, this is dock beetle that's doing this. So if you grow French sorrel, they attack dock more than they attack the French sorrel. If you can see what they have done to this dock. So again, it's like a complementary plant, really. And here, nettles. People really dislike this stuff, don't they? But, okay, you can't eat it when it's in this state, when it's in flower like this. Unless you wish to have a laxative, you cannot eat it at all. If I can find some later that you can eat, I'll show you. This, I might get this out in winter because we have a lot of blackberries at the edge and it's taking up the room. But for now, I don't do much of the gardening at this time of the month because there's too many living things living on these seeds. So let's respect it and get aboard of this. This is, I think in Latin it's Pomonera major, but it's called Lumwort. Now if you see here, I imagine this was actually a cross with Pomonera major to a cultivar. So whether it do the job as good as Lumwort does, I do not know. I can only hope so. Now this is a herbal remedy, and it was used for lungs. They said it looks like lungs, and they used it for lungs, and apparently it's very, very good for, I think it's bronchial conditions. There's a solitary bee that lives here, and Andrena philipes, I think it's pronounced, not knowing the solitary bees that well, but I think that's how it's pronounced. And they go predominantly for this. And then when this dies out, they'll go for red dead nettle quite a lot. Or here's lemon balm, and this grows like anything in our garden. I've got a patch in a sunny area. Always good for survival because it calms you down and you can have it in tea. I don't like it that much. I do like drinking tea and coffee, but it's always a good one to have around. You know, on those times when Well, if you're rich, you can't get to the shop and get a cup of tea. If you're poor, you always want it as a survival thing, so you can drink it. Here is ground elder, and most gardeners cannot stand this and they chop it away like crazy. Now, I'm fortunate to be renting here, as is my partner, and a few other people share the garden, so I'm lucky. But in the past, when I needed to eat camp money, I used to live a lot on wild food, and this I still live on. It's delicious, and because, as you see, it's all surrounded, it isn't spreading too much, so we're able to contain it. A bit passed over now, but in early spring, when it starts to come up, it's really nice in soups. I've liquidized it and put it in omelettes before. This is a trial, and this was given to me by a fellow gardener here. This is rose campion. I don't think I'll grow this again. It is a cultivar, as you can see. And I tend to feel if nothing lives on it, then it has no value to life itself. It's not actually blending with the natural scheme of life. And as you see, you will see the odd hover, but very, very rarely. Very rare. You'll see a fly on it as well. But no, I'm going to say that you can use the space up. It's a biennial, so when this dies out, I'll put something more constructive in, or another test plant to see how life works with cultivars. This here is nipplewort. If I look down here, you might be able to see these seeds here. Basically, they look like nipples when you look into them. You can eat nipplewort. You can eat the leaves. You used to be able to eat English comfrey. Now, English comfrey is the only one you used to be able to eat. Lots of the other comfreys are poisonous. I really do not. It's one of the wild foods that I do not eat. Simply being that if you put this in a load, well, I don't eat meat, but if you put this in with meat, what happens is all the meat that you've cut up will, let's get the word right, conglomerate and make one big mass. And I tend to not trust that it does it. But as a herbal medicine, if you've got a clean break, not a jagged break, if it's a clean break on your leg, you can bind your leg up, and this really does heal the leg very quickly. It's one of the old herbal survival plants. It probably still is being used. Here I've got poppies growing, and poppies, as you see there, going. Poppy attract all sort of beings. They attract honeybees, solitary bees, and they attract hovers as well. Flower flies in America. Here, cornflower. It's a plant that used to grow a lot in fields. Not so much now. It's one of those persecuted plants that they used pesticide on. As you see, there's a potato cuspid there. Now, why it's called a potato cuspid, I do not know. It doesn't just go for potatoes. It go for a lot of these. I'm finding it's not really creating much damage at all. If you see here, Gwen, she's grown loads of them. She grows them for selling flowers in the market. As the sweet peas. Now, if you look at sweet peas, they're lovely, aren't they? But I don't grow them because my job is to actually grow things that are good for insects, pollinators, especially